Good evening, everybody. I'm Pixie from Planet Pixie, and I'm joined this evening by Kelly from Kelly J Photography. Good evening.
Hi.
So, if anybody is watching along, please do drop us a comment, say hello, let us know you're there. Don't lurk in the dark. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, and still feel free to ask us any questions, and we will come back to you. Good evening, Kelly.
Hi. I'm glad to finally be here.
Yes. So, for anybody who's wondering, Kelly was supposed to be with us previously, but had a little bit of a mishap.
Flood in my kitchen. 2 floods in my kitchen, actually.
All the fun that we put up with. So, tell us about yourself. What do you do? If the clue wasn't in the name.
Well, I'm an alternative wedding photographer in Somerset, but I also travel. And basically, my wedding photography style is kind of documentary, candid, a little bit more informal than the usual like traditional style. So instead of having like all the posed portraits and group photos and staged photos and things, it's just very like relaxed. Yeah, so that's what I sort of specialize in.
And how did you get into that?
It's kind of it was just kind of random, really. I wanted to do horror photography originally, which I do, but on the side, so it's a hobby, not my professional business. So I went to
sounds manageable to me, but you know.
So I went to some business classes just to sort of get an idea of how I needed to do things legally. And I met someone in there who was getting married, and she saw the work that I did and decided she wanted me as her photographer. So I said, yes, let's do it, because she said she was having a very like relaxed wedding and she wanted my sort of style. And on the run up to her wedding, I did some second shooting for other photographers to get some experience. So I didn't just go into her wedding not knowing anything at all about weddings. And yeah, and I loved it. And I just kind of fell into it because I never imagined that I would be able to do weddings because of how I am, just me as a person. I thought that all weddings were traditional, that, you know, it was always like white gown and like pink flowers and like, you know, in a church and just in a typical venue. And I kind of just figured that I didn't fit into that realm, and that
there's a mold that we do not fit.
But she got married in a castle in North Wales, and she had a harpist and there was peacocks, and it was just amazing. And I just thought, you know what, I really enjoy this. Like it was really hard at first though, because I had social anxiety really bad, and the weddings actually sort of helped me overcome the social anxiety. So I thought, you know what, I love this. I love the challenge. Like I really liked the challenge, and it's really fast paced, and you kind of have to mix a load of different kinds of photography into one day. So it's never just like one kind of photography. So, you know, you're obviously doing the documentary stuff, doing the portrait stuff, which I was used to doing anyway because I worked with a lot of models and stuff. And you're doing like the table decoration, so you're doing lots of detail, and you're doing the sort of landscapes and the, like, you know, you're doing the interior stuff because you want to get the venue pictures and everything. And then you're doing the sort of event style photography in the evening because you've got like the party and stuff. So it's loads of different kinds of photography all in one day, and you've got to be on the ball, like, you know, changing your settings for every different kind of situation. And it's just kind of, it's good for you because it's like super challenging, and I like that.
And that's a lot to consider, isn't it, as well, when getting your photographer?
Oh god, definitely.
So I'm going to I want to ask you the process of working with you, but whilst you explain that to us, I've got your blog here, so I'm just going to pop that up on the screen so people can see just what's on here and a couple of your don't know if I can make that any bigger, a couple of your pictures. But what's the, when somebody decides, you know, they've seen your work and they want to work with you, what's the process? What do you take them through?
Normally when someone books me after like they've signed the contract and everything, we'll normally either meet in person, which we can't really do right now because of
yeah.
So we'll have a phone call or something like that, and we'll go through details of the day, so like where I need to be, who they want in their sort of group photos, because I try to limit those because obviously I'm not a traditional photographer, but I do some because it's nice to have some of them.
Yeah.
But I try and keep them as informal as possible. So I like to just know all the details of the wedding before the day, so I'm completely prepared. And then on the day, it depends what package people have, or, you know, sometimes people might have a specific budget, and I try and bend to that. So I might, you know, do a smaller amount of hours for a different price. So it depends what people book. But if people book me all day, I generally start 2 hours before the ceremony. So I'll go to where the preparation is happening. So people get ready and stuff, and which is quite nice because it kind of eases you into the day, and people kind of get used to having me around. Because
I made some lovely pictures as well. I really like prep pictures.
Thank you. Yeah, so once the prep is done, I do the ceremony, and then usually in the ceremony I tend to just stick to one place while it's happening, and I don't take any pictures whilst you're speaking, so I try and take the pictures in between, because I think clicking when you're speaking, you can hear it, it's just really off-putting.
I was thinking more like the pictures, like you're mid-word, you got like a really oh, this is super cute.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, so
so what I obviously for a lot of people the answer may be slightly obvious looking at us. What's your favorite kind of wedding and your ideal client?
This. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I like photographing so many different kinds of weddings and people, generally alternative, obviously, but I think when a couple puts their own stamp on a wedding and they make it really personal, that's my favorite. I think, you know, as much as I love like the details and stuff, I think when a couple just really make it personal, that just, you know, it just brings out their personality in the pictures. And I think
I think there's different types and different ways of detail, and some people get married and the importance of the detail is that, you know, the colour of the ribbon on the invite is exactly the same colour as the sashes on the chairs, or you know, that kind of detail. Or you can have the small details that when your guest knows you, it means more, because I mean, to be honest, I'd be like, who's going to a wedding and taking the invite and matching the sash on the chair? Do you know what I mean? That's what's important to you, fair enough, but you know, make those details about yourself, and I think that's the beauty of alternative weddings.
Yeah, definitely. And I photographed so many different kinds of alternative weddings, because obviously there's not just like the Gothic wedding in the castle and stuff. There's all different kinds of weddings, like hand-fasting weddings, you know, people having celebrants instead of doing just the legal thing. They do it how they want it, basically. Yeah, just all different kinds of weddings. As long as like it's true to the person getting married, I think that's the most important thing. I think as long as it's true to you as a couple and who you are, instead of just, oh, I've looked in a bridal magazine
and it looks pretty,
or I've been on Pinterest and I think this is how it should look because that's trendy. I think as long as
all those flowers are beautiful.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? And the dress, I just love the dress. She made the dress herself.
Oh, that's cool. That's amazing. Yeah, so I think it is. I think that's the beauty of alternative weddings, isn't it? It's by breaking the mold of the traditions, you're making everything so much more personal.
Yeah.
And so much more memorable, probably for you and for your guests. And
yeah,
I think we were discussing earlier, weren't we? Like the importance of having suppliers and people that understand you as a person and what you want. And as we were saying, what alternative is, because it isn't just a branding, you know, it's, if people are having an alternative wedding, chances are it's because that's what their lifestyle is, that's the community they're part of. And, you know, obviously you and I are in that community and in that lifestyle, so we understand that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It isn't just a trendy branding for the sake of, you know, oh, it looks cool, I'll just make one in black because I like it, kind of. Obviously a lot of people do, and that, you know, that's cool. Not everyone's personality is reflected in their branding, but for the detail that you as an alternative person can pull out of an alternative wedding, I imagine is a lot more meaningful.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think if you're an alternative couple, having a traditional straight-laced photographer isn't really going to bring out your personality.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, and I especially because sort of my approach to doing the portraits and even some of the candids is to really like get to know the couple and the guests like they're my friends. Like I'm just, you know, I'm meant to be there. Like I just blend in with everyone.
Yeah.
I think it's important that obviously the couple gets along with me really well, and there's like a rapport there. So I think, you know, having an alternative photographer for alternative people makes more sense.
Yeah, definitely, because you can identify what's important, you can identify what's meaningful, as opposed to just what maybe looks pretty, whereas there might have been something that is quite significant to that couple at that wedding that a normal photographer maybe wouldn't have thought to make sure they get a picture of.
Yeah.
Normal maybe isn't the right word, but a mainstream.
I think it's really important to have, like, you know, a good relationship with your photographer as well, to get along with them really well, because they spend pretty much all day with you, like following you around with the camera. So I think it's really, really important to have that sort of good connection with them and sort of like have good banter with them and stuff, because if you don't get along with them, they feel more intrusive. I think when you get along with them and they feel like a friend, you kind of forget that they're taking photos. A lot of people do forget that I'm actually taking photos. So yeah, I think it is really important that you sort of have a good sort of friendship.
Yeah, more like having another guest there as opposed to.
Definitely. Because I mean, I like to say that I'm unobtrusive, but I'm not unobtrusive in the sense that I just stay in the corner and don't speak to anybody and people just forget that I'm there. I'm the kind of unintrusive that sort of gets a bit more involved. So I like to talk to all the guests and sort of like, you know, hang out with them a little bit, and then when something really fun is happening, or, you know, there's an inside joke going on, I'm in on it and I'm there taking the photo. I'm not just in the back. I notice all the moments. Yeah, I feel like, you know, especially in the evening in the reception, you know, it's a party and everyone's having a party, and I just feel like I should be involved so people are comfortable with me taking their photograph, and you know, good.
Definitely, I'm guessed that when the photographer sits down because they've suddenly noticed that somebody's got weird hair or, you know, whatever, I'm the one that usually goes, so. And I'm off. And I'm avoiding that photographer.
Yeah.
Like, there's no tomorrow, because I'm just like, oh, they're going to see that camera in my face. I'm off. I don't want.
Yeah. I think
as well, just like part of the day, I'd probably be less likely to be so, quite frankly, probably rude. Be like,
yeah, because I have been to weddings where the photographer has completely distanced themselves from the guests, and it does feel a obtrusive, even if they're just in the background, because you do notice them more. Whereas if you get to know the guests,
every event I've ever been to.
And I think as well, if you're camera shy, because a lot of my couples tend to be camera shy, that really helps, is having that sort of, a banter with the couple and the guests and stuff. I think that really helps people who are camera shy.
That's one of the things that I really like about alternative wedding photography, is because if somebody said to me, the two of you stand over there and we're going to point this lens at you, and you've all of a sudden got to not sneeze, be conscious that your eyebrows are too low, and it's slightly wonky, and all these things that you suddenly don't like about yourself comes flooding in, and you suddenly are like, I'm a smile, and then I suddenly look like a Cheshire cat. Do you know what I mean?
And I think
I have the weirdest smile that's never ever been on my face before. I would absolutely hate it. Like that centre of attention and centre of the photo thing, I would absolutely hate. Whereas with the alternative wedding photos, they are more like a piece of art, as opposed to a picture of yourself. So if you're
normally the way I would approach that as well, because obviously you need portraits of the couple, because you want to get a good photo of their outfit, you want to get pictures of them together after the ceremony and stuff. But the way I approach it is giving them something to do, or like getting them to interact with each other, so that it's not just look at the camera and smile. Because I think a lot of people, when they're booking a photographer, and they're camera shy, they're quite worried about having their photograph taken and being nervous in front of the camera. But I think a lot of people are basing their idea of photography on their parents or their auntie who's taken a photo at a christening or something of them, and they hated it. Because a lot of people who are booking a wedding photographer may never have had a professional session before anyway, let alone someone who might be more sort of documentary style. So they think, oh, okay, well, they're just going to stand there with the camera, tell me to smile, and then they're going to wait for the flash to go off, and then, oh no, the flash didn't go off. Do you know what I mean? Because you're used to that happening at family events. But that's not at all. So normally I'll get them to interact with each other, and I'm constantly taking photos that they don't even notice that I'm really taking, and then I get all the in-between moments that are happening, so it's a lot more natural. And obviously I don't let them have the ones where they're sneezing, so
that's probably
we get rid of those ones unless they specifically say I want outtakes, because some do say I want some of the bad ones.
I think if some of them were funny, I perhaps would, but I think it would be quite a dangerous request, because I mean, it'll take me 50 attempts to get a selfie that I don't mind, and then even by the time I cave and post it, I'm still pulling it apart, and I'm like, I don't like it. So I think some of them I'd probably be like, oh my lord, what, I didn't want to see that. But I think outtakes of everybody else is fine. I want to see those.
We don't mind embarrassing the other people.
Just delete me out, and that's my version of Photoshop. Just remove me entirely. And I'll just see the amusing pictures of everybody else. Have you got a favourite event that comes to mind that you've done? Or is it just a certain type of?
Do you know what? One of my favourite ones that springs to mind is a medieval wedding in a castle, where the bride had blue hair and they had pumpkins everywhere, and it was around Halloween time, so it was amazing, the autumn light in the evening and stuff. I just absolutely loved it, because I am a huge Halloween fan, so pumpkins and anything Halloween themed, anything autumn themed, I love it. It's my favourite. So yeah, definitely I think that one, when I think of my ideal wedding, that's what comes to mind. And it's not even just the the aesthetic of the wedding, the Halloween elements, and where it was. I think it was the fact that it was in North Wales, where I'm from, and they had they had, I think it was like a hymn in Welsh, or they had like vows in Welsh and stuff. And I nearly cried because I felt just super connected as soon as that happened, because, you know, I miss North Wales. Like, I love North Wales, and like when you're Welsh, you're like super like, yeah, I'm Welsh. And like, so as soon as that happened, I was like, wow, this is really personal now. This is like really intimate, and they've done something that's hugely personal to them, and that just like made me tear up. I was like, oh, I was like really choked up about it.
That's the other part of what we were saying before, isn't it? About making it about you and knowing and understanding those little elements that make the vision about that person, because it also draws the guests in. Like, I always say, to, like, something I'm forever saying is, if you took your wedding photo album and somebody else's wedding photo album and you pulled them back so far that you couldn't see the faces, would you know which one was yours?
Yeah, definitely.
If not, think about it. And reconsider your options, because you want to be able to identify your wedding by more than just your own face.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's like with the sort of rise of like Pinterest and stuff, a lot of people are very worried about having like Pinterest perfect weddings, having weddings that are bloggable. You know, they're very worried about the way that their wedding looks rather than the way it feels. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it feels like your wedding, not it looks like somebody else's wedding. Do you know what I mean? So because there's another wedding, one of my favorite weddings, the bride was a florist, and everything was like a floristry themed. So, you know, there was just these amazing flowers everywhere. But it wasn't just that, it was the fact that you know, the couple, I got along with them so well that they are some of my favorite photos I've ever taken, because they just didn't stop laughing and like at my bad jokes. But it was just because we got along so well, and we'd met quite a few times before the actual wedding, and then after the wedding we like got together for like cake and stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think those weddings are like some of my favorites as well, because, you know, when you get along with the couple really well, it just brings out their personality in the pictures.
Yeah,
definitely. You know, it's just like they're hanging out with a friend.
And that's the important. Yeah, again, as we were saying before, the importance of having somebody, whichever supplier you're going with, if they're interacting with you a lot and they're on your day, to have somebody who knows and understands who you are and that you get along with, and that reflects your values and your interests and things. Just gonna say a quick hello to Bernie, who's jumped on there. Bernie is the alternative celebrant that I was talking to you about before, and whose group I dropped you into before we started this call. And a quick hello to Mel, who's jumped on watching us. Mel is who I mentioned earlier, the Halloween bride, who hopefully, COVID dependent, will be getting married this Halloween.
Oh, wicked.
So hello to you too. Yeah, it's just popping up on my phone again. But yeah, I think, again, it's working with people who you can gel with totally, because, I mean, Bernie's just saying totally agree, because again, Bernie does, clues in the name again, I guess, alternative celebrant. She does the alternative, and proper quirky from the conversations we've had, weddings. So I think she'll get that one.
Yeah, I think with the celebrant you sort of have to, don't you? Because it's like the main part of the day, isn't it? The actual like ceremony. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, look how amazing this hair is. If I put her profile picture back up, that's definitely alternative.
Yeah,
and definitely not just branding.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I know you said where you are based earlier, but where do you cover?
Anywhere in the UK, really. I like to travel around, you know, because I'm from like up north and I live in Somerset, so just anywhere, because I mean, not far from like Glastonbury, so I've got that sort of alternative, you know, like client base in like Glastonbury. But there's, you know, alternative weddings everywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure if somebody wants to pay for you to go abroad and on a
Yeah,
nice,
I wouldn't mind that at all.
swanky location, you're not going to put up too much of a fight. So before we go, where can people find you? Where can people follow you? Where can people see more of your work?
Okay, well, my website is kellyjphotography.co.uk. I'm on Instagram at kellyjweddings, and I'm on Facebook, facebook.com/kellyjphotography.
Fabulous. Well, thank you for joining me. I'm just checking.
Thanks for having me.
What was that? Sorry.
I said thanks for having me, and also being patient from my flawed.
It's understandable. These things happen. I'm one of these people who I've now decided I shouldn't actually be allowed any electrical appliances because everything breaks. I'm a disaster, as my other half tells me constantly, in terms of like I'll be cooking, the oven will just blow up, or you know, I'm really good at blowing fuses basically, and I don't lose my temper. So I understand these disasters, don't you worry.
That must be so annoying.
Nobody's going to want to work with me now, though. Not having her plan our wedding. She's going to be a disaster.
Don't let her have any electrical things.
Yeah, it's fine. As long as I'm not like building the church or whatever.
You're not going to be bringing like a dishwasher or like an oven, so you're fine. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, don't hire me to wash the pots.
Same. Twins only just went to bed before I came on, so it's like there's everything to clean. It's a disaster downstairs.
Yeah, well, that is just life.
Yeah.
These things happen even to all of us. Well, thank you for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Pop you backstage. And I'll be with you in a moment. Oh, I'm putting myself backstage. This is the downside to what we discovered earlier of swapping sides. Let's try again. Oh dear, I'm leading up to this disaster, aren't I? Well, thank you everybody for joining us. And talking of celebrants, join me next week when I speak to Sharon from Velvet Rose Ceremonies. She is another one of our lovely alternative celebrants. Again, thank you for joining us.